So, before we start, if you haven't seen Joker or you haven't read the plot leaks, I highly suggest you go and see this film. Come back and then watch this. Or if you just don't care about spoilers, I guess you can watch this. But there will be heavy spoilers, and trust me, you want to know nothing before you see this movie.
And here we go.
So, Joker is a movie that you happen to think about a lot, especially after you see it. And one aspect of this film I was really thinking about a lot is what's real and what's not. Because as director Todd Phillips has stated so many times, and Joaquin Phoenix as well, Joker is the narrator of this movie, but he's an unreliable narrator. So you don't know what's true and what's not. And originally, I had just thought this to be like, oh, okay, like some parts of the movie are fabricated and some are real. But I started thinking more and more about what exactly is fabricated and what is real. And it goes so much deeper than you could even imagine. The movie itself shows you that Arthur is an unreliable narrator with his relationship with Zazie Beetz' character. This was the first time you really see that Arthur is an unreliable narrator and he is delusional. This fabricated relationship with Zazie Beetz' character demonstrates how exactly Arthur is an unreliable narrator. It doesn't really hit you that Arthur is not exactly a reliable narrator until this scene. The movie explicitly shows you that his relationship with Zazie Beetz' character was completely fabricated. Arthur even walks into her apartment in the middle of the night as he's soaking wet, and he has a almost absent look in his eyes. And he just hunches over and he sits on her couch until she enters the room. And it is at this point Zazie Beetz is horrified, and she asks if he can leave, and she's clearly terrified of Arthur Fleck. And the only words he says during this entire sequence is, "I've had a really bad day." And that's it. That's all Arthur says during this sequence. And this scene, not the ones where Arthur's getting bullied or beaten up, it's this scene, this exact look on Arthur's face is when you see who Arthur Fleck truly is and who he is to the rest of the world. So after the movie shows you that all the events he had gone to with Zazie Beetz' character was completely fabricated and it was all a fiction of his imagination, you start to question what exactly is real. For me personally, I didn't start questioning what exactly was real until I had walked out of the theater. And then everything started looking a different way. And this exact reason is why I think this movie necessitates more than one viewing. It is in the last scene of this movie where Arthur Fleck is in a mental hospital, and he looks the most like Joaquin Phoenix he had in this entire movie. He's got a stubble and a gray hair, and he looks more like Joaquin than he had in the entire movie. And he's smoking a cigarette, and he's laughing. A social worker asks him, "What's so funny?" And he just tells her, "It's a joke. You wouldn't get it." And then he's seen breaking out of the room with bloody footprints, and he's being chased by guards afterwards, and the movie cuts. It's at this point you start to realize what exactly this ending means, what just happened. This theory I'm not necessarily sold on, but it's something I thought of, and it was the idea that everything that happened as the Joker was completely fabricated. In this theory, Joker was arrested after he had murdered the 3 Wayne businessmen. In the movie, obviously, the detectives are on his case and they're calling him and they're really trying to pressure him into talking to them, but Arthur really refuses. And they're almost ignored through certain parts of this film, and you don't really think about it until after the movie. In theory, after this, Joker is arrested and sent to Arkham Asylum. And it is in Arkham Asylum where I believe Joker would have been in solitary confinement and his medication would have been strongly reduced. And due to his medication being reduced and being in solitary confinement, Arthur becomes delusional and his imagination is the only thing that keeps him company. And it's in these delusions, Arthur becomes the man he wants to be, the Joker, the man that he wishes he could be, an icon. The Joker becomes an icon in this movie for killing the Wayne businessmen and ultimately becoming a political figure. In this movie, Joker is a symbol of rebellion. He's almost a symbol of the phrase, kill the rich. And all of this had stemmed from the Wayne murders. Again, this theory is not one that I'm exactly sold on, but it's one I was really thinking of as I left the theater. Another theory I was thinking of a lot was this wasn't the last we've seen of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. It is only in the last act that Joaquin Phoenix becomes the Joker. Arthur truly transforms to the Joker in the very last act of this film, and it leaves you wanting more. I'm not saying it leaves you wanting more in a bad way. It's just you want to see more of the Joker. You want to see how he'd interact with other people and how other people really view the Joker and not necessarily Arthur. Once Arthur transforms into the Joker, all traces of self-doubt are completely erased. Joker embraces his laugh rather than Arthur hiding from it. The Joker will dance in the rain as Arthur slowly, somberly walks through it. Arthur has remorse, while the Joker is completely remorseless. The Joker lacks any empathy for humanity. Joker sees it all as a joke. The Joker's appearance on the Murray Franklin show was absolutely jaw-dropping. The Joker ultimately shoots Murray in the head, dances about it, and parades in the streets amongst chaos. And through this chaos, the Batman is born. A follower of Arthur's, dressed in a clown mask, shoots the Waynes in front of Bruce, spares Bruce's life, and goes back to parading with the Joker. I am of the belief that this scene wasn't just a nod to the comics or to the movies where Bruce Wayne's parents have been murdered. I believe that this scene is foreshadowing. Before all of the press went crazy for this film, Todd Phillips had stated that if this movie was successful and Warner Brothers had approached him about it, he would definitely think about doing a Joker sequel. And already this movie is shaping up to be a blockbuster hit. So that just leaves the question, are we going to get the sequel? Or are we ever going to see Joaquin Phoenix's Joker again? My assumption would be yes. I would certainly believe that this wasn't the last we've seen of Joaquin Phoenix's character. Even if this film doesn't get a sequel, I do believe it's entirely possible that this Joker appears in another film, 2021's The Batman. I do remember reading that Robert Pattinson's Batman film is supposed to be set in the 1990s, and supposedly this film is supposed to be set in 1981. So it's entirely possible that the timelines line up, especially since Bruce Wayne, Alfred, Thomas, and Martha Wayne all appear in this film and play major roles in this story. But then again, it's entirely possible that this is the last we see of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. But personally, if I were a betting man, I would bet on seeing this Joker again. We only really saw the beginnings of what this Joker could be like. I would really love to see more of the Joker. But then again, it's entirely possible we never see him again. And personally, I would love to see more of this Joker. Now that we've seen the origin of this Joker, I'm really interested to see how he would interact with the Batman, or how the rest of the city would see him and how he would rise to be the clown prince of crime. But anyways, those are just a few of my thoughts about this film I had walking out of my screening at the Toronto International Film Festival. I was dying to get spoilers off my chest since I saw this movie about a month ago, but I figured doing a spoiler review would be best suited when people actually see the movie. I'm still planning to do another Joker video, and it might be my last Joker video, you never know. I really loved talking about this film, and this one that I have coming up is comparing this film to The King of Comedy, so keep an eye out for that. If you have any theories, thoughts, or opinions on Joker, please let me know in the comment section below. I love reading the comments, and thank you for watching. Oh, and one last thing. Always remember, that's life.